Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom.
That was
Happy
interesting.
Friday.
Happy Friday.
It's a Good Friday. No, it's not Good Friday. Sorry.
Good Friday.
Um,
It's a Friday, and it's a good day. It's not Good Friday.
well, actually, as I look at the calendar, I realized I didn't realize this until just this moment. It's Friday the 13th.
It is.
Are you superstitious?
Not that much, but I'm cautiously aware.
Cautiously aware. So you don't want the spooks and goblins to get you?
No, I just understand that there are potential reasons to be superstitious and have superstitions. I used to have that when I was playing basketball in high school. I would, especially for away games, everything was loaded in my gym bag in the way that I would then put it on. That was like a superstition. I don't know why.
And because of that, you were the player of the year in your league?
We didn't even win all the games, so I don't know what the value was in any of that. I used to be superstitious that if I listened to the Buffalo Bills on the radio, they were guaranteed to lose. And then I gave that up as well. I think those things just have passed me by, and there's a little something to some of that. So I'm cautiously aware of superstitions.
Well, I think there's a correlation between Friday the 13th superstition and the fears that we have of
Sure.
follow-up and of other things, because in all those cases, you can't put your finger on it. You know, part of what makes that whole superstition thing powerful is the fact that if you have something happen today that's negative, someone's going to be like, well, it's Friday the 13th. What do you expect? What we can't know as humans is, was it going to happen regardless of the day? Did we cause it? Did someone else cause it? Was it intended? Was it God's will? Whatever. We've got a whole bunch of things at play. And it's the same thing with follow-up, right? When we're doing follow-up, there are a whole lot of forces at play. And
Yes.
we often ascribe all the results to one thing. Oh, I called him in the morning and I shouldn't have. I called him on a Friday. What a bad decision. I didn't use my nice voice. Oh, I jumped into the offer too quick. I said, we have all these things that are almost like superstitions, right? There's no way you can tell me right now if something bad happens to you today, Bob, it's definitively because of Friday the 13th. Any more than you could say to me if you made a call to someone, a prospect, and they signed up with you. You couldn't say to me definitively, Bob, it's because I called them today at 9:57 a.m. and I said exactly the right stuff. Because there are way too many forces in this whole thing, right?
Correct. Well, there's one very important force that we don't control, and that's other people's decision-making rationale. Correct?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a matter of, do the forces align? And it just so happens that they are ready to make a decision as you are in front of them with an opportunity to help them, that it makes some sort of sense. And I think that to take some of the superstition out of it, to take some of the unknown out of it, is that the more we are in front of them, the better chance we have of being there when they need whatever it is we have to offer. And I think that's part of the, if you get away from the superstitions of, well, I always make follow-up calls Friday morning at 9 a.m. because I know people just walked into their office and it's Friday. They're not really focused because they're like thinking about the weekend, and this is when they're ready to act. Or I don't make them on Monday morning first thing because people don't want to talk on the phone Monday morning first thing. Maybe not everyone. So I think that's a very nice introduction to some weekly wrap up on our conversation about follow-up fears and tying it into Friday the 13th. Is there another day? Do we have a national day today?
My calendar did not come up the way it was supposed to, so I don't know. I was looking.
Must be because it's Friday the 13th that it got messed up.
Yeah, something like that. It's not doing what it normally does. And the email I got, I inadvertently deleted. Just one of those days.
It's Friday the 13th. Just blame it on that. Just blame it on that.
Again, I'm literally waiting for it to load. Okay,
That's okay.
Oh, wait. Are you left-handed, Tom?
My father is. I am not.
Today's International Left-Handers Day. My wife is left-handed, so it's also National Prosecco Day, and she is sometimes show up Prosecco and use her left hand. And then it's also, here's a good one, National Blame Someone Else Day.
Perfect for Friday the 13th. Someone or something else.
Yes.
Crazy. Well, that's interesting. With all of those days, we need a National Renegade Day.
You say that. We've got to start. We've got to put it together. We've got to find a day.
I need to do some follow-up in that regard.
We need to map that out.
Hey, look at this. We have a left-hander in the audience. Michael is left-handed.
Hey, Michael Kittner. Nice.
Very
Happy
nice.
International Left-Handers Day. It's not National Left-Handers Day. It's International. That's right. So
I guess my question.
We haven't had an international day on the list.
We haven't?
No. They've all been national days.
Interesting. So, Michael, how are you going to celebrate International Left-Handers Day? Or how do we need to celebrate Michael because of that? I don't know. That's a good, interesting thought process.
Well, isn't like 12% of the population is left-handed?
I have no idea.
It's a pretty small number, but it's interesting when you talk to left-handed people, because of the world that they live in that's so right-handed oriented. Like if you're of a certain age in school, you were told that you couldn't write left-handed. You had to write right-handed. So you'll see a lot of left-handed people that are actually pretty ambidextrous.
Well, and it's fascinating to me. So my father writes and eats left-handed. Yet he does everything athletically. I'm sorry. He writes and eats, did I say that? Left-handed.
Yeah.
He does everything athletically right-handed. Fascinating.
Well, it's a whole lot easier to get coaching and training because if you're right-handed, teaching someone left-handed is the complete opposite. Right?
Yeah, sort of.
Think of a golf swing. Sorry?
You all right?
Yeah, my oatmeal's kicking back. Excuse me for a second.
All right. So while Bob gets a beverage, we'll notice that he does have his bigger pie strategies. I think that he wears all of these logoed shirts to shame me that we don't yet have Renegade Success Network shirts.
I even told you what shirts to get.
I know. I'm making some progress on it. Slow, but some. Supply line chain. It's all messed up.
Supply line chain. I like it.
That's what everybody tells me. Oh yeah, it's supply line chain. We can't get what we're looking for. I'm like, okay.
There you go. Michael's got it. Remember, people are in the right mind. That's it.
I like it. All right. Not that any of this.
And just to finish out the discussion about shirts, anytime you're ready to come out with the RSN shirts, I'm in.
Okay.
Tom, it could be what we've been waiting for all along.
Gear sales.
Selling shirts, and then we could move to hoodies, and then we could get ski caps, and then beanies. How about beanies with those little propellers on top? I'm a renegade.
Yes. I'm not sure what to say to beanies with a propeller on top, except that if that's what you feel like doing as a renegade, go for it. All right. So let's get back to follow-up. Let's follow up on our follow-up.
Okay.
So the whole week we talked about fears of follow-up. After last week, we talked about follow-up in general and ways to do it. And And we talked a little bit yesterday about unexpected responses. We had a great conversation on Tuesday as we talked about the fear of success.
The hoodie's gathering traction, Tom.
I had a client once who tried to do some merchandise sales. Didn't go over so well. Doesn't mean that it wouldn't work for us. I do like the idea of a t-shirt that says I'm a renegade. There's something about that I really
could always be a lovely gift, a surprise gift to the person who joins our Renegade Success Network.
Ooh.
They just get in the mail this beautiful t-shirt that says I'm a renegade that they had no idea was coming, unless, of course, they're listening right now and then I've ruined it. But in the time it'll take for us to get logoed merchandise, I think they'll have forgotten.
Man, it's coming at me hard on the merchandise stuff. So let's get back to follow-up.
Okay.
All right. So as we go through this week, Bob, what are some of your takeaways from the fears of follow-up?
Well, the thing that sticks with me most is our discussion the other day where you did some coaching of me. And I really believe the more I reflect on it, the more I really think through the idea that I was, as you said, I was equating revenue and success in a negative way in my mind. If I was successful, then I was going to make money and that was going to change who and what I was. When you helped me shift that discussion to helping more people, and it wasn't that you like brainwashed me or anything, you didn't hypnotize me, you just helped me sort of figure out what's important to me. I think it really has changed how I look at a lot of things I do. I was making calls yesterday for one of my clients, and those calls I was making were about doing something very mechanical, working with this company. And I was like, up to this point, it's like, yeah, they just need the service. But yesterday it was, they need this service because it's going to help them make their job easier, which means they can relax more, which means that they can be a better parent if they have children, or they can relax more, or they can enjoy their weekend more. And that really started to cause me to want to make more calls.
Interesting. It's amazing what happens.
Does that make sense at all?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Well, I think you in your head at least have started the process of thinking about how I'm adding value and not just how I'm going to be impacted, Right. And I think that was something that I started thinking about as we think about the results of our follow-up. It's a little bit about us, not about how do we help them. Mm-hmm. And I think that so often the same happens as why we get fears is we consider what the results are and that as a reflection of who we are, not as of just a decision that someone else has made of whether to, donate, buy, join, become a part of, whatever. And, remembering that we don't control that, is that it is not a reflection on us. Now, potentially you could look at what is my message. That could be a reflection on us. When am I doing it? How often am I doing it? All of those are things you can evaluate based on the results that you get to help you then continue to determine where you go. And I think, again, it goes back to that thought of results are results in the moment. Mm-hmm. You call somebody up and they say, I'm not really interested right now. Or I'm not interested. Okay, great. And is that a no for now or just a no for forever? And they say, yeah, it's just not something that I think I would ever do. Okay. At least now while you may think that is a negative response, it actually helps you one less person you need to do follow-up with for the moment. And I think that so often we get so wrapped up in the answer, mm-hmm. rather than in the action that we need to take as a way, as we said before, that the more that we are in front of people and we're in front of them in a way that adds value, the more top of mind we are when they are at that moment that it's right, it's real for them to make a decision about something that maybe we offer and why they would choose us rather than someone else. It's interesting. I had a past client that I did some work with, share that they just hired a coach, which was, at first I was like, that's interesting. I did some strategic planning work with them and I was pretty sure they knew that I was a coach. And maybe they just chose to go with someone else, which is fine. I think that that's, again, something on for me to consider, not to be. And at first I was like frustrated, disappointed, upset for a moment. And then I was like, okay, what can I learn from it? What can I take away? Is maybe I just need to make sure that I'm sharing with people a little bit more about all the different things that I can do to help people to add value. And, so that others understand it. And there's also a part of me that's the point of, okay, they've worked with me before. Maybe they just wanted to work with someone else and get a different perspective. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's
I
not
know our vast viewing audience, Tom, would love next week for me to coach you around that topic. They are like, oh, this would be a great chance. Let's see if Bob can do what Tom does.
If you want, I think I've come to terms with it, and I'm very comfortable with the fact that that's.
It sounded like it. Yes.
Well, I think because I got to that point, it was like, look, and maybe it's because we've been talking about follow-up for the last 2 weeks, that it helped me understand that it wasn't necessarily a reflection on me. And even if it was, okay.
Did you follow up with that person consistently? You said they were a former client, right?
Yeah, they were. Yes, somebody I did some work with right before the pandemic started, helped them with a strategic plan.
So it's been over a year.
Yes, and we've been in contact. They asked for my thoughts on a executive director position and how to promote it, and they're on my mailing list and all those type of things. I maybe just haven't shared all the information in a way that I could.
Mm-hmm.
Or they didn't see that as an option based on the work that I've done, which I think is part of, again, us being clear
right
on what we offer sometimes and not letting people make their own assumptions on, well, Tom just does strategic plans and works on those bigger projects. Okay, maybe that's information. That's information for me. And I think I'm getting much more comfortable at the point of, rather than spending time being frustrated about an immediate result, thinking about, okay, what can I take away from this? What can I learn? And what will I do differently next time?
Sure.
And I think that has helped me be less frustrated. Because at the same time, someone else shot an email that was like, hey, you know what? I know I've been really busy and things are going on, but I'd like to restart some of the conversations we had about things that I think could be beneficial to us. And so I think that there's a lot of that around, is that some people really know exactly what we do and others aren't as clear, or they just choose to make a different choice.
And maybe part of follow-up, Tom, is what you just said, which is learning what you can learn from what happens in each situation and using it. And that's literally, as I think through it, it's like that should be part of the follow-up. It shouldn't just be call this person. It should be call this person and see what happens. If they go, geez, Bob, we just talked a month ago, then, well, maybe it might be too soon to call them. Or, geez, Bob, I had forgotten about you. And maybe it's too late. And really trying to figure those things out, because I think sometimes we fall into that trap. We don't want to do follow-up. So it's like eating vegetables. You just wolf them down, get rid of the broccoli, get rid of the peas, and move back to the nice parts of the meal. Whereas I think there's a lot to be learned as you eat those vegetables. Those tastes are important and they're good for your body. And I think it's the same thing with follow-up. All aspects of follow-up really do play a role in future opportunities. So I think that's going to be my one thing.
I like that. I like it because I love the idea. It goes back to, with every action, we get a result. And with that result, rather than worrying about the result, ask the 3 questions. What went well? What didn't go as planned? And what will I do differently? So that we can actually learn and be impacted by the results that we get, and remembering that those results are temporary. I think that I like that, and I'm going to go in a little different route.
Can I jump in first with Tim's comment?
Sure.
I've had more than one person that couldn't use my services refer me to someone who could, because of the way I handled follow-up. Don't ever think a no means no business. I think that's a really important aspect of this, that, it's no for the moment, or it's no in the current situation. But I've had people who have said no to me with one company, and then I see on LinkedIn they went to a new company, and I call them at the new company, and they're like, "Oh, Bob, you're not going to believe it. I suddenly have a training budget." Or
Sure.
I have a problem that I think you'd be perfect for. So sometimes that follow-up is just, being aware that situations change for people. One of the things I've learned is if anyone has a job change or a change in the boss, that's a great time to just check in, because the deck is in a different stack. The cards are different then, and sometimes those cards can be really perfect.
Sure. I think it also goes to, how we're following up. I think Tim's comment is good, is that just because that person isn't necessarily choosing to use you or needs to use you doesn't mean that they don't necessarily know someone. And how you handle that, one, whether it's just continuing to stay in touch or what value you add, it's going to make them more likely to share that with someone else that likely we never know about until maybe they happen to say, "Oh yeah, I heard about you from so and so." You're like, "Oh, that's interesting. That's nice to know that even though they couldn't use me, they saw value in what I had and was willing to share it with someone else." And I think if we shy away from it and we worry about whatever the immediate result is going to be, we're going to be less likely to take that action. And I guess that would be my one thing, is there are plenty of fears, as we have discovered, around follow-up and really almost any action that we take. And with follow-up, we're just concerned about what's the reaction that people are going to have. And likely it's going to be unexpected. As how could we truly know how someone is going to react based on where they are? Unless literally we talked to them 2 minutes ago and we're like, "Hey, what's going on?" "Oh, okay, now it's time I need to do follow-up." So I think if we get focused more on the action and celebrate the action that we take, that hopefully some of those follow-up fears will start to go away, and we'll start to look at follow-up as how do we learn and how do we grow and how do we better understand the people who we're in touch with.
I like that. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I got some coughing today. I apologize.
That's okay. Nothing wrong. It happens. You can't control it, can you?
No. I see what you did there. Nice. You ready to wrap this puppy in a nice little bow, Tom, and let people get on with their Friday the 13th, superstitious or not?
Certainly. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate that you chose to join us, even though it was Friday the 13th, and the turning on your computer, let alone or phone, may have been concern enough. And for those of you who aren't superstitious and are choosing to take action today because it will add value to someone, one action you could take if you haven't already done it is join our Ring of Renegades Facebook group. It is easy to do. There's lots of great content and great people who are all trying to help one another move forward, take their next step on their own unique pathway to success. It's easy to do. You just go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades. Now, it is a private group. Bob loves it when I say that. And you need to ask to join. And it's private because we want to create a space where people can feel comfortable sharing some of their fears and knowing that the people who are going to respond are not judging. They just want to offer support, feedback, and maybe a thought or two that might change and have an impact on what's real for the person who's struggling with that fear of follow-up or something else. To join, all you have to do is ask and tell us why you're a renegade. And then you can become a part of our growing community that are helping one another find their next steps, move forward, take action, be less superstitious, and gain the success that they're looking for. So with that, I hope that you have a great week. We hope that we see you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, or we'll see you Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, for our next edition of today's Antidote. And if you are struggling with the fear, we have something coming up. You can learn more about Find Your Renegade Way in 90 days, and it's all part of the Renegade Success Network. And so here's some further information on the Renegade Success Network. And if you go to the renegadesuccessnetwork.com, click on programs and go to Find Your Renegade Way in 90 days. You can learn how you can make a difference and reach the goals that you are trying to achieve before the end of the year, so that Friday the 13th is not superstitious, and you can achieve what you're hoping to achieve this year. So here's some further information about the Renegade Success Network. Have a great day, everyone.
Great weekend, everyone.
No peace, no.
No, I don't
got nothing today.
No, just have a great weekend.
All right.
Stay cool.
Are you struggling to make your vision a reality? Are you stuck and don't know what to do next? Are fear and doubt holding you back? The Renegade Success Network will help you determine the next steps on your pathway. Here is some of what you will get. Create your pathway call to start you on a better path. Unlimited laser solution sessions to keep you from getting stuck. Nurture your network events to build your network with other successful leaders. Monthly Renegade challenges to prepare you for what lies ahead. The Renegade Success Vault, giving you access to videos, tools, and tips on specific topics anytime you need them. And the Renegade Success Network community, an exclusive Facebook group of like-minded renegades, all working towards achieving their goals. You have a choice. Do it yourself and fumble forward slowly and alone. Or join the Renegade Success Network and be part of a community built to help you find your own pathway. Join today at renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Act now and jumpstart your journey on your own pathway to success.